this is a lot easier to hold than the other ones. I'm like, I'm locking in my biceps. All this thin air in Denver's, you know, where I'm like trying to, the people are always yelling at me for breathing too heavy on the videos. I'm getting in better shape, but man. So the next product in the line is the Bigfoot Nano with iBrid technology, right? I'm getting it right. Everybody always calls it the iBrid, the iBrid. It's the Nano. You should be saying the Nano, the Nano. Mm-hmm. It's the RUPES Bigfoot Nano with iBrid, right? iBrid meaning?
iBrid meaning dual power source, so it runs on battery, or you can plug it right into the grid with the cord pack, and also multiple movements. So it can be a rotary, a 3mm orbital, or a 12mm orbital. So the idea of kind of a multi-use, multi-configuration type thing. iBrid in Italian actually is hybrid, so multiple things.
So tool has trigger very much like the pneumatics, right? So pneumatic type trigger. We have our on-off switch here as well. We'll have the batteries aren't charged, but we'll have indicator light, green for go or working, right? Orange for when the battery starts to wear down a bit, and then red means go change the battery.
Change the battery or there's a issue.
I think one of the greatest things about this is that you get 2 batteries at the kit, right? It runs for 25, 30, up to 30 minutes, and a battery takes 20-ish minutes to charge. So I've never had to pull out the power source. So you'll be able to just keep cycling through with the battery system. Batteries come out like so, look like your standard 12 volt lithium-ion battery source. Tool comes with, so let's talk a little bit about the different options.
Here's actually one of them taken out of the tool. So you have an eccentric set, so you have actually a bearing with where the backing plate attaches. So this would be a random orbital movement, right? This is actually your counterweight. So the eccentric assembly that you can't see on the bigger tools that's attached to it, this is actually a part that comes out. So you lock down the spindle there, and we include the little wrench here, and you can unscrew this guy and swap it out for, we've got a couple other ones here. So the blue. So you can lock in the tool and then break that guy loose and attach another eccentric set. So we generally recommend the 12mm, which is the red guy here, for polishing. It's a large orbit polisher at that point, right? 12mm orbit. Then we have the 3mm orbit, which is the blue, and you can see in there we already have a backing plate on this one. This tends to be, you can use it for polishing, but it's actually a little bit more suited to use as a sanding. So we include those little micro sanding discs.
Yeah, I just learned that today. I don't think I've heard anybody talk about that. It's like, I can never figure out what the heck's the blue one for. What's the blue one for? And then it makes sense. Sanding. Learning more about sanding, machine sanding, and that smaller orbits tend to be more common and preferred for machine sanding. So blue for sanding, 3mm orbit, red or reddish for 12mm polishing orbit, and then green for
on-center rotary, so a little mini rotary tool. And it should be mentioned too, a lot of confusion around this for people is if I put this green rotary attachment in there in place of the eccentric set you have there, and I try and throw this disc on there, it actually will hit the shroud. It won't screw all the way in. It's actually by design. We recommend that if you're going to use rotary, you only do it with the smallest of backing plates, and this one will actually clear. So it's to protect you from yourself.
Why?
Pad velocity. We want to be less, there's a couple of reasons, but the main one's pad velocity. So as you've learned this week with your training with Jason, if you increase the size of a rotary pad, right, the edge is where all of the most heat and everything is going to be at. If we think in scale, right, we have a very small tool, but it's running at a very high RPM. If we scale that pad up, that's an extremely aggressive rotary tool at this size.
Right, because it's opposite, or wait a second. Yeah, it's smaller. The smaller the pad on rotary, the less aggressive.
Less aggressive it is.
With DA, the smaller the pad, the more aggressive.
More aggressive it gets. So we want to keep people to this size with the rotary. One, to protect them from themselves. Also, again, thinking in scale, we have very small gear sets, very small pieces all through this. It's a precision tool, but it's also extremely delicate in that way. Not to say that it's flimsy, just delicate.
Right.
So if we have all that mass spinning really fast on this setup here, and you let go of that trigger and it comes to a stop, you kind of almost like a backfeed loop. It wants to push further through. You're going to wear gears out and things like that. So we purposely want people only using the rotary setup with the smaller backing plate, or if you want to, the brushes.
So kit comes with all this stuff. That's the cool part about this thing. So it comes with the rotary, or the little rotary attachment. It comes with a 1-inch and a 2-inch backing plate. Comes with the DA. Comes with the smaller DA, the smaller orbit DA for sanding. Comes with the tool. Comes with a couple of polishes. It comes with blue and yellow pads, right? So I think it comes with, what, 3 of each?
You're actually going to get in this kit, with the full kit, you'll get 6 yellow 1-inch, 6 yellow, blue 1-inch, and then 4 each of the larger sizes as well. So enough to get you started, you know, enough to do quite a few little projects with it, and then obviously you can purchase all the full range of pads, including the wool pads and things like that, as, you know, refills for your kit.
Yeah, so I'll have that in the store as well, the wool stuff and the you know, I'll probably also have white pads as well added to it. I don't know if I'll add green or not for some of you guys who use green. Maybe I'll add that as well. So check the link in the description for those. Why no microfiber for this?
You know what? It just hasn't been developed yet, and with our slotted, invented technology, that's going to be kind of a very odd size to try and cut holes into. But you never know; it may be on the horizon.
So short or long? Here's the short.
Probably the number
long.
one question. Yeah.
Which one do I need? It's a $500+ item with all of the kit. Very few are going to buy both. Even as crazy as I am, I only have one.
Yeah.
Hint, if you want to send me one of the short ones. But I only have the long neck, and I was back and forth. Which one and why?
I tend to steer people towards the long neck if they're heavy into detailing and they want the most versatility, because that long neck's going to give you reach, like, you know, between the spokes on a wheel, maybe into the barrel of the wheel, or doing a brake caliper or something. It's going to give you more versatility, more reach. The short neck tends to be better for people who want to run it one-handed. You know, you're doing maybe express operations and doing quick spot sanding and things.
We have it nailed down here.
And it's got a little bit less leverage to it. Our tendency is to see people with the long neck, because it just seems so far away, that they're always off angle with it. The short neck, you can manage that angle and keep the pad flat a little bit easier. But if you're only going to pick up one, the long neck's the way to go. It's also important to mention too, that spindle lock there is never to be pressed while the tool is running. Our tendency as detailers, we always want to do everything with 2 hands, and we're used to a big foot polisher, right? And do this. So I see a lot of people do this, and that actually is a gear lockout. So you can break this pretty quickly by doing that. The benefit of the long neck is you actually have this space here now, so you can maintain your detailer's tendency to hold things two-handed instead of one, and it's got a space for you to hold on to.
What are the warranties on these things?
12 months manufacturer's warranty against all defects, all the components of the kit, so we'll warranty anything goes wrong in the first 12 months, and then if anything after that 12 months happens, we cover repairs for $85 generally.
Even these are $85, just like the DA tools?
Yes, in most cases. There are some instances if you damage the motor or something like that, that may not be covered, but the main parts that would wear, or if you drop it or break a trigger, or maybe the speed dial or something, or the shroud, that would all be covered.
In the beginning, all the parts weren't available. I can buy batteries and chargers and everything. I can buy that separately now.
Yep, all of the components of the kit. So you can actually build your own Nano out of the different components. We sell the tool, what we call a naked Nano, which is basically what you're seeing here. No battery, basically has the shroud, no counterweights, no nothing. You can add batteries, as many as you want, or you can add a cord pack, you can add whatever ones. So if you don't want to buy the fully loaded kit, which is kind of the way to go because you get everything for kind of one package price, but if you only have one specific application, you could buy a Nano and buy the little pieces and make a custom design.
It comes with a big old bag.
Yep, everything's organized nice and neat for you.
If you buy the kit. So that'd be interesting. I'll see, as of the time of this video, I'd never even considered doing a la carte options, but maybe I'll do that as well for people. Stay tuned for that. But for now, we'll be doing the kits and give the option of long and short. Again, I have long. Dylan's recommending the long neck. Again, unless you want to do one-handed stuff really often, I don't see why the long wouldn't satisfy all your needs. If you haven't seen the video of Jason and I talking about edge work, we use the iBrid a lot, talking about how this really becomes a powerhouse. We're doing even the edge of a giant door or a hood. Just the power of this in rotary mode is really fantastic. So that's the RUPES Bigfoot Nano. I almost said iBrid Nano. Nano iBrid. What happens when the force pulls you back, your foot naturally comes off the gas. You have to keep your foot to the floor, foot to the floor.